Hello, Dream Daddies and 9-foot-tall vampire MILFs. This is the special Daddy's Day, the Father's Day episode of Brotakus, the show where we talk about anime and do a deep dive on what isn't worth watching. We believe you don't need a major in anime studies to enjoy this wild, beautiful, strange art form, and we are lucky to have you on this journey with us. Listeners, today we are bringing you a special episode, one that has a gorgeous visual component, so check us out on YouTube if you do not already watch us there. But even more important than the visual tier list that we are going to introduce today are our guests. Returning My Hero Academia champion in the flesh, Eric Schutt is back. Eric Schutt repping the My Hero shirt. There's too much to mention, Eric. So, Eric, you are a beloved, amazing actor, singer, dancer, human being, but you're also a father. And nothing captures that father energy more than your recording setup. So, can you describe for our audio listeners what's going on here?
Oh, absolutely. So, first of all, I am not in any kind of recording studio professionally whatsoever. I am in my downstairs bathroom because my apartment just has an open floor plan where the only doors are the bathrooms. So I am locked up in here with my lovely buddy Bat Cow right behind me. It was the only place my wife would let me put him. And you know, you get to gaze right into his eyes as you're doing your business. So
yeah, absolutely. Also coming to us today is first-time Brotaku's guest, but long-time contributor through roasting me through direct messages. Is my homie Bishop. Bishop, could you describe what Bat Cow looks like for the audience if we could get another visual?
I'm very uncomfortable. Honestly, that's just. I wouldn't want that in my bathroom because I would if I feel like I would just lock eyes and be hypnotized. And that's not what I want when I'm
welcome to my life.
Business.
Being seduced by the
I really don't like it. It really bugs me.
Being seduced by the bovine bravado of Bat Cow in the bathroom, but it's also a real dad vibe to be forced to record in your own bathroom. And you have some daddy beverages with you today, right, Eric?
Yeah, I got my on my right side my daddy bourbon, and on my left side got my nice green tea.
Beautiful, the yin and the yang. And so, Bishop, Eric, welcome to the show today. We are so lucky to have you on because you both are daddies yourself. You are fathers yourself. And I believe for both of you, this will be your first Father's Day coming up on this Saturday, right? I'm saying this because it's dropping the Thursday before. But,
yes.
Yep.
Any plans for your first big day?
Not really.
I think I'm getting surprised with some stuff. I don't know.
I was gonna be surprised with some stuff, but then my wife Courtney couldn't wait and actually showed me a picture of one of the things that she got me. And I mean, I'll spoil it for all of you since it was spoiled for me, probably the most important person to spoil it for. It's just a pair of socks because she knows I like goofy socks, and it has the pictures of my baby girl and her on them.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's very sweet,
That's
very
really
on point for me.
That's really amazing. So I guess I want to ask at the start of this, because for everybody in the audience, today is going to be, I'm sure, our long-awaited Father's Day special. How every anime podcast, you need to have a Father's Day special, in which we are doing a ultimate tier list ranking of the definitive, like, important anime dads. So we have got like 40 of these motherfuckers, literal motherfuckers, because they become a mother through the act of you fucking them. So 40 anime motherfuckers that we are ranking from S tier to F tier. We have a couple of caveats. We're laying down the ground rules right now. So first off, this is a dad tier list, not a daddy tier list. I am going to refer to it as a daddy. Know that the spirit of this is dads, not people who you look at them and you go like, oh, daddy. Like, we're trying to keep it a little even keel here. Similarly, we are trying to encapsulate dads over time. We have a very specialized DOT, dads over time formula, where we're trying to take a overall picture of how the dad is over time. Like if they're great at the beginning, but then terrible at the end, we're going to try to average it out. If they have like just one real ass fucking terrible thing, of course it's going to weigh things down. But that said, there's going to be a ton of spoilers here. We're basically going to talk about all their dirty, all the dirty dishes that they have under their dish cabinet, hiding their filth dish.
I thought you were gonna say you're gonna be talking about all the dirty daddies, and I was gonna be very upset.
You're gonna be talking about
because you didn't say it, I have to say it now to let you know that was a thought I
Bishop.
had.
Way to go.
Talking about all the dirty daddies. That's what the
and now you all out there have to think about this.
The dirty daddies. I'd get dirty with some of these daddies. Similarly, this is dads that we know, not a comprehensive list. So I think that this list is like pretty great when it like what we put together when it comes to the major dads in anime, but inevitably we're gonna miss something. So if we missed a daddy that you think should not have been overlooked,
at me on Twitter.
at him on Twitter. Drop that dirty daddy in the comments, and we will.
I'll give you a personal ranking of what I think of the dad if you at me on Twitter.
Yes, for the low price of $5. Find us on Fiverr. We'll rank your dirty dads.
I'm starting a Patreon. A
fucking Patreon for dad ranking. Jesus Christ. No dad too dirty. Now, so we have a traditional ranking of S to F here, but Bishop, you had a fucking killer breakdown of what these tiers mean. Could you share that with the class?
So as I was going through these characters, I had to determine how am I going to rank these dads, and I basically figured, okay, S tier are sacrificial dads, right? Give up everything for their kids. A tier is just really good dads. B tier is, you know what, they're trying. C tier are phantom dads or just kind of shitty dads. D tier are indirectly antagonistic dads, and F tier are actively harmful dads. That's what I went with. Now, I don't know how you guys ranked yours, but...
Well, Eric, do you think that's
I think it is fair. I'm going to be ranking mine based on my own opinions, like as we go on through the show, and also like what I hear about the dads that I don't know about specifically. But yeah, that is a very valid criterion.
I will say some of these I didn't know, and I had to read the wiki, so people might get real mad if I put them in the wrong tier. based on what I just said.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm only ranking these dads based on if they pass the vibe check or not. How's their drip? So like Charles V. Britannia, S tier drip, man, dude. He's clearly got an ankle spanker. He's got like 78 kids. We know that we know he's got the moves. So are we ready, boys, to dive in?
Aye, Captain.
All right, so without further ado, this is the definitive Brotaku's Father Day special, the Daddy tier list, the ultimate Father's Day tier list. Let's get ranking dads. First up, number 1, Goku. Goku on the tier list, legendary character. Eric, could you first give us your opinion on Goku?
If you don't know who Goku is, you're probably living under a rock. Even if you do not watch anime in any capacity, you at least know him by sight. He is probably renowned as the strongest in the universe, depending on what arc in Dragon Ball you are looking at, because there's always just like another level up. But yeah, he is just the penultimate shonen anime powerhouse, and is questionably probably not the greatest dad. He has one son, Gohan.
Yeah, Bishop.
Yep, hit it, Bishop.
That's a lie.
Yes,
that is a lie. He does not have one son, Gohan. He has 3 kids. Get out of here. No, he has 3. Goku Jr.
Goku Jr.
Hell yeah, go on. Go ahead, King. Slay.
D tier. Yeah, he shows up at the end of Dragon Ball Z at the end of the tournament.
That's GT. That's his great-great-grandson.
And it's him with Vegeta's little
or
kid.
Something. I don't know.
That's no.
Yeah.
Is that GT?
Non-canon.
Doesn't matter. I still count it. Whatever. GT's canon. I don't give a fuck. D tier dad. Goku's D tier dad. Doesn't give a shit about his kids. Disappears for years at a time. Throws his kids in harm's way. You seen the Cell Saga? That's fucked up, dude. Bad dad, D tier, D.
Yeah. So Goku is often fucking around while his kids like literally lie dead with a broken neck, needing to be like resurrected.
Straight up.
Hal's opinion on this is Goku is a C-tier dad, but not because he's a bad person. Let's not forget that Goku is literally brain damaged from childhood, and I don't know what senzu beans do for the multiple concussions he's experienced. So he said C-tier. Do you think that
I agree with Hal. I'm with Hal on C-tier because although he does mean well, and he does want what is best for his kids, he just doesn't really have the mental or emotional capacity to really facilitate that for his children. So he will always be there to save the day for his kids.
I could be argued into C tier.
He's not throwing them into the fire and be like, good luck, son, you got this.
I could be argued into C tier. I'll take that.
Okay, hell yeah. Goku grading on a curve due to childhood brain damage and being all dummy, no thick. Okay.
This is a good start. This is a good start.
Next up, we got a lot of dads to go to. We're gonna, I think, knock off our DBZ dads right away. Gohan
Great
is
dad.
a dad.
Yes.
Great dad. A tier.
Great dad. I agree.
Great dad.
From Hal, Gohan is a solid A-tier dad. Once he has Pan, everything he does is about providing / fighting for his family. A-tier daddy. Next up is going to be Vegeta. Goku becomes such an absentee father that Piccolo is one of our... Piccolo's up next. One of our rare examples of someone who literally, like Gohan, did not grow up in his nuts, but may as well have, because he becomes like the sole father figure. So Piccolo's
definitely
presence as a father. What are we thinking, gang?
I'm gonna say B tier just because he had a rough start.
Yeah.
Just because he had a rough start. Leaving Gohan out in the wilderness on his own and beating him up
that is some
at the beginning.
behavior.
That's a little rough. He comes around though. He does learn to love him. And he ends up babysitting Gohan's kid. So like, you know what? He's trying.
Now, here's an interesting thing, because Hal says Piccolo is obviously an S-tier dad. That's just a fact. Obviously, he's the most competent and compassionate of all the Z-Fighters, but I digress. Let us decide once and for all. Do we grade them solely on their dad ability, or if they had a couple genocides thrown in there, does that like...
Well, technically, that wasn't Piccolo.
I mean, this is dads over time, right? This is dad. No, Piccolo did... Piccolo Jr., who we were talking about right now, did start off as a bad guy at the end of Dragon Ball. Not a good guy. Bad guy. Yeah, not
so
good.
That would put
bad
him
man.
like somewhere in the middle between. He's done some S level shit and some F level shit.
B tier. It's over time, right? You got to consider the whole breadth of dad
okay,
time.
yes, I agree. I'm so sorry, Hal. I'm so sorry. I lied. We're not going to defer to you on this one. He's done too many. He's done too many assaults. Okay, last up.
One too many assaults.
One too many assaults. Next up, Vegito. Our homeboy
like
Vegito.
same category.
Thoughts on Vegeta as a father?
I was going to say D tier as well.
Yeah, you know, D tier is exactly what Hal said. Hal said D tier dad at best, only narrow scraping past F tier because he sacrificed his life to defeat Majin Buu. I kind of agree with that. I think he's a bit of a fuck.
I would give him one level up.
I mean, like, sacrifice his life to defeat Majin Buu, but also kind of gave in to Babidi and sold his soul to beat up Goku and cause the resurrection.
That was just to give him an excuse.
So
if we're weighing down based on assaults and war crimes, we gotta put. I'm putting Vegeta in D tier.
D tier, easy.
If we did it to Piccolo, we gotta knock him down for it too, right?
He attacks future Trunks to get Cell perfect, right? He actively abuses Trunks to train him when they're in the hyperbolic time chamber. He's a D tier dad. He gives a shit eventually, like in Super. He gives a shit when Bulma gets slapped, but otherwise he sucks. And numberless genocides as well.
For me, he's C tier, but I can see the argument. Because I think he's just on level with Goku because he catches up eventually and is eventually a better dad.
The only reason Goku's C tier is because he's brain damage.
Cutting this off. We have too many daddies. Too many daddies in the cut.
Next
too many daddies.
Next one.
We're doing JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. We are going to Cherokee Joseph Joestar.
I don't know, actually what he does as a father.
C tier.
Because it's not really shown. It's just shown him as a grandfather leading Jojo.
He's got one daughter. He's got one daughter who lives in Japan with her jazz musician boyfriend. He's racist as shit. Kind of doesn't really seem to be around much, and also has an illegitimate child because he cheated on his wife and he
tracks,
left.
That's true, but he loves his daughter so much.
He does.
Can we do B on him?
I would say B tier. B tier. B tier.
Eric, what do you think?
I agree with that. He's fucked up, but you know what? As far as fathers go, he's there. He tries.
He's trying.
Next up, Jonathan Joestar. Complicated
S-tier.
scenario, Jonathan.
S tier. S tier. S tier dad.
Interesting. Justification.
100%. He gives his life to save his wife and child. He sacrifices everything to save his kid.
And I mean, he didn't know Dio was going to be on the ship with him when he does die.
No, but once he does know, like, Dio's head shows up in a jar, and Jonathan goes, I guess I'm dying. Like, I'm going to save my kid, I'm going to save my wife, I'm going to save as many people on this boat as I can, which happens to be just his kid and his wife. But, you know, how do you, he didn't try to snake his way out of it. He's an honorable dad.
Upstanding guy, like, throughout his life and arc. So I would rank him S tier.
Okay. I will default to y'all. If I had my druthers, it would be F tier, because if you're such a good dad, how come you didn't know that Dio would do that shit? You know, like fucking pull your head out of your ass.
Okay.
He thought Dio was
but
dead.
He thought he killed him. He's such a good dad that his lineage makes up for
it, kid.
Eventually, Jotaro finishes the job.
That's true. That's true. It's true. Just like Erina in Food Wars has the god tongue, he has like the god nuts. I mean, multiple times over saved the world with his progeny. So maybe just on sheer testicular glory, you got to give it to.
Oh, it's a good thing I came into my wife before we went on this boat trip.
How lucky can you be?
God, if I didn't if I didn't bust ropes in my wife before getting on this boat, the world would die.
Wow. Oh man.
Jesus. Okay.
Well, sorry. I'm grossed out that I said that. I'm sorry.
So
next up, we have the boy, the goated, the yeeted Dario
Brando. Oh, Jesus.
So this is one of the ones I'm unfamiliar with.
D tier dad for Dario. So he's the one at the start of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures who like corrupts and fucks Dio up and is like, I feel like
he's an alcoholic. Yep. He's a thief. He's abusive. Like, he makes Dio go out and run like scams to make money. You know, he was gonna rob the Joestars when they were in their accident because he thought they were dead. But they weren't, and he takes advantage of them to like.
What are you doing up there?
Deal
what are you
off
doing
that.
up
Like
there?
He's D tier.
Stop.
Yeah. What is?
Okay, can we put him F tier though? Like if we
I'm reserving
he's
F tier.
Just like
I'm
a guy who's
F-tier.
trying to do his thieving
but if
shit
we gave
and like just happens to have a kid in the mix.
You guys are fucking crazy.
Nah. Looking at the people I have in my F tier, he doesn't belong there. But boy, he's close.
This is our tier list, Bishop. And if we graded Jonathan one rung up for sheer nut glory, should we do the same for like nut destruction? The fact that his ropes could crack the planet in half when he's busting?
Who would you rank higher, Dio or Dario?
I don't know a lot about Dio as a father because I haven't seen part 5 yet.
I would say...
Listen, you said F is actively harmful, Bishop. Right?
Yeah.
Is not Dario Brando very actively harmful to Dio's development?
I think he's indirectly
Physically violent,
harmful.
Alcoholic, emotionally abusive.
Yeah, maybe he could be put F tier. Maybe he could be in the F tier.
All right.
Maybe.
Thank you for letting me have this.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
He just looks and behaves a lot like my dad, so I'm getting something out of putting him in this tier.
You know what? I'll let you. Yeah, go ahead. You take that. This one's for you. This one's
the healing episode of Brotakus. So we're laying it down with Dio Brando. So that's an interesting question. Where do we put Dio on this? Because I don't know anything about him as a father. So what's the deal?
I would say also D tier. For reasons that are going to come up in part 6.
Okay. Sounds good. D tier for Dio. So next up, I think let's go Hunter x Hunter. Let's go Hunter x Hunter. So we have gene freaks in Hunter x Hunter. We have the man, the myth, the absentee legend here, the asshole of the stars. But just how bad is he?
So bad that
what do we think?
He is
D-tier.
unaware of how bad a dad he is. He's very much conscious of his neglect for Gon. But at the end of the day, he knows it will make him a stronger person. But also, if this were a dad in real life, we would also think he's a piece of shit, just like everybody in the anime that calls him out for it.
He actively sends his son into the ringer. Like, he abandons his kid and then sets up all these trials for him, like the whole Greed Island arc.
And then upon meeting his son for the first time, since he was a baby, he just tells him, well, did you apologize to your friend for being such a burden on him? And making him go out of his way to heal your broken ass? No, you go do that right now. While I'm going to escape to this high tree where nobody on the world, except for maybe me, has gone. So you can find me there if you can make it.
He's low D tier. He's just outside F tier.
Absolutely. Everybody hates him so much that they only refer to him as like that asshole, that absentee father, that piece of shit, and everybody cheers when he gets his shit clocked by Leorio, just like when that one dude threw his shoe at George Bush during the press conference.
Yeah, exactly.
Very justified. Very justified. So next up, other part of this, Silva Zolik, father of
You're F tier.
Thumbs down, Bishop. Why?
F tier.
Wow.
F tier. Oh, he's a piece of shit. Yeah. Like, intentionally misgenders his daughter. Actively abusive towards his kids. Raised his kids to all be psychopaths. Like, terrible dad. He's terrible.
At the same time, except for maybe one of his children, he has like a good standing relationship with all of them somehow. And they are all like some of the strongest beings in the entire world. So, I don't know. I think that speaks to something. I wouldn't put him necessarily in F tier, but I don't know. I think there's also a culture that we're leaving out.
That's like saying that like all the family members in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's a good family because they all get along.
They are psychopaths, but they're serial killers. These are hired professional
They're all crazy
assassins.
murder people.
It's different when it's professional.
I like what Eric's bringing here because if it was just his relationship with Killua, I would actually give him like an A. He's very supportive of Killua. He tells him to go hang out with his friends. He's like the opposite of what you expect from his character.
No, he tells him that because he's like, okay, go hang out and see how much life sucks, and you'll come running back. I'll see you when you come running back. That's his whole thing.
Now, but he is for his youngest daughter. I know that they misgender the daughter, which is like really, really terrible, but does it outweigh his good standing relationship with everybody else? Does being, and I'll trust your dad opinions on this. Does completely being fucking terrible to one kid outweigh having a basically good relationship with the rest?
What that shows me is that he's not considering his children as actual people. Right? If he gave a shit about his kids, he wouldn't misgender his daughter. He would call his daughter by her name instead of Nanika, that thing.
Kids. Why did he have so many?
Because they're tools.
Because they're tools.
He has that many kids.
How come I have so many fucking kids?
No, that just means you.
Rest in peace, DMX.
That just means you fuck a lot, dude. Like, that doesn't mean shit. They're just tools. It's tools for him to make money. That's it. That's all they are to him. He's F tier dad. I feel very strongly about this.
I would have given him like a C or D tier myself, but the strength of your passion for this, I'll put him down in F tier because transphobes get fucked. Get out of here.
He sucks. Exactly.
Even if the type of trans that your child is like murderous curse goblin from the hell world, fucking respect. Show some respect. Use the right pronouns, you dumb bitch.
Look,
hell yeah.
Killua can do it. You can do it too, dude.
All right. So, next up, any guesses as to what this is? This no image available thing.
I know.
I know.
It is Izuku Midoriya's dad. Wait, what's his fucking name? Who cares? Because he never shows up. Yeah, Hisashi, which roughly in Japanese, like kanji, means a long time ago, and is a reference to the sentence, I'm gonna butcher this, Hisa Shiburi, which means it has been a while. And literally, it's been such a while that you haven't shown up for the entirety of a shonen manga. So
can we agree like D tier on this? Just easy, put it in D.
Sure. I was gonna say C. I was gonna say C with the other Phantom Dads who just aren't around, because he's not indirectly antagonistic or harmful to his kid. He's just not there.
Okay, Daddy Council. Does being an absentee father make you a C or a D?
Because he is just like as absent as Goku, I would say. But like Midoriya's a good kid, so you gotta assume that he had something to do with that.
Yeah.
Like he's a well balanced kid. I don't know. We just haven't seen it yet.
Dope.
Can't wait till he shows up. Can't wait till he shows up.
Gonna drop Daddy Midoriya in C. Our other My Hero Father, Endeavor. Where are we ranking Endeavor on the list?
Oh, God.
Throw him down there with Zoldyck.
That's a mix.
Throw him right down with Zoldyck. Fuck that guy.
No, I don't know, though.
He's just Zoldyck in My Hero Academia.
We're gonna rely on Eric for this, because Eric is our resident MHA guy. Eric, what do you think?
If you are kept up with the manga, you know that, yes, Endeavor has done some terrible shit to his family. It's not confirmed yet whether it was physical or purely emotional, but it has taken obvious, visible effects on his family. And it really is just from the vein of protecting them and making sure that his offspring are the strongest that can be. That being said, he only married his wife because he wanted strong offspring that could be stronger than him. Mm-hmm. But he is making up for it in this redemption arc and trying to really reconnect and rebuild his family, with the help, of course, of his daughter and sons.
Okay, so taking all of time together, where does he stand?
So I'm only
I
caught up.
He meets right in the middle.
What? Oh my God!
See, are you fucking insane, dude?
Right now, canonically, he is as good a dad as Goku. Canonically, right now in the manga, he built his way back up to Goku level.
Are you shitting me?
Okay,
that is my line of
like
of
I'm at the part
critique.
in the anime, like season 5. He's turning around and he's trying to like make amends with his son, but his son's not having it.
Texting Shoto.
But his whole childhood, he abused the shit out of the kid, like physically abused him. Are you kidding me? He punched him so hard he threw up.
At least
craziness.
Todoroki, he is physically abused.
I shouldn't.
It was training, though.
The council rules.
That doesn't matter.
The council rules. The council rules. We shall split the difference between C and F and put him in D. Do the dad's consent.
Okay.
Low D. D.
D minus, sure.
But
if he was a transphobe, then he'd be an F tier. That's the only reason he's above Zoldyck.
Fair enough. Okay, so moving on. Let us do. I think grouping them is a successful thing. Let's go with Joichiro Yukihara. Joichiro Yukihara, the father of our main boy in Food Wars, of Soma and Shokugeki no Soma.
A tier dad.
I totally agree. Nice, easy. A-tier dad, out of the way, supports his son. Fantastic. Next up, fucking Azami Nakiri.
F tier dad.
Eric, F tier or D tier?
Wait, who's this? Azami
Nakiri.
Because I'm gonna put it out here. When we get to this fucking guy, we need to realize everybody on F tier needs to make it like we know which tier he's going in. You know what I mean? So
look, those tiers are broad. These tiers are broad. Okay. You've got Vegeta and Endeavor in D tier. Like they're broad. These are broad tiers.
Okay, so
F tier doesn't have a bottom.
Azami Nakiri going in F tier.
Yeah.
No bottom to hell. That's some big berserk sentiment shit. Okay. Very nice.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's get a couple of these singles out of the way. Who's this fucking blue guy? Oh,
Temray. That's Amuro Ray's dad in Mobile Suit Gundam. He's he's a C tier because he's just never around. He's a military scientist working on the V project, which is developing mobile suits for the Earth Federation. He's just never around, and he kind of sucks.
Okay, sick.
That's
I will
it.
drop him in. I'll drop him in C. Zorndike. Let's while we're on the level.
Oh,
let's
young
go-
Zorndike, blue sub.
This is
6.
Zorndike, right?
Yeah, D tier, baby.
Okay, why is he D tier?
Okay, so as far as dads go, he's D tier because he's basically Dr. Moreau. He makes a whole bunch of like weird animal people to live in like a post-apocalypse world, but also he makes them hate humanity and kind of sends them to war, or at least maybe they go to war on their own accord. It's left kind of ambiguous. As a person, he's F tier because he creates the apocalypse. It floods the entire world, but you know, as far as dads go, I'd say D tier. He doesn't actively harm his kids, but boy, he sure as hell puts them in harm's way.
Very, very fair. Next up, let us pull. I think this is our only Evangelion dad. So Shinji's dad, right? From
Gendo
Evangelion.
Akari?
Oh, God. D tier.
F. F tier. F tier dad.
He is an F, isn't he? Doesn't he just like... Yeah.
Actively resentful towards his kid. His kid is a tool to get his wife back. You know...
Which doesn't really work in the end.
Which does not work at all. Doesn't work at all. He's F
Takes a
tier
clone of
dad.
his wife. Ends up creating another apocalypse.
A clone? Just one?
I'm sorry.
He's awful.
If you have
He's
not
awful.
seen the end of
He's
the
manipulative.
Evangelion movie...
We said spoilers, dude.
Big spoilies.
It's fucking 20-something years old. All right.
Yep.
So,
True. Get on board.
It's legal
Next up,
now.
I love the pace that we're going on for some of these bonus dads. So there exists a show called Fairy Tale, a show that gets shit on a lot, but many people love very much. And of that, I guess there's one notable dad named Gildarts Clive. So from our Brotakus alumni, Emily Bassett, Emily has written in a letter about Sir Gildarts. It's the fucking worst name ever. Okay. Maybe the best. I love this. Okay, so Gildarts. He's probably B tier because on the daddy side of things, he's hot, he's powerful, he's funny as fuck. But on the dad side of things, while he is great with kids, he's kind of a womanizer and was an absent father for a decade. He kind of gets an excuse because he literally didn't know she existed. He solidly sits at B tier, though, because once he finds out he's a dad, he goes full-on dad who's obsessed with his family, daughter, above anything else, LOL. So we will...
I could be convinced.
Sure. So the homie Gildarts heading here again. Let's get into something that we can like dig into. Let's get into Bishop, and I'll let you take the reins on this one. Gambino.
Oh, Gambino.
Let's do Gambino.
Oh, F tier dad. Oh, he sucks. Oh,
Why?
he sucks. So, Gambino's from Berserk. And this is going to give you maybe a little taste of what Berserk can be like at times when it's not showing you with tiny moments of warmth. Gambino finds the protagonist of Berserk, Guts, underneath a tree full of hanged people, having been birthed from his mother who was hanged. Gambino raises Guts. Yes, as in
I never considered that. Holy shit!
Sorry.
as in the German Guts van Gogh from medieval times. That's a real name.
Oh, for real? Wow.
Yeah, dude. Oh boy, you should look him up because he's fucking cool. Anyway, raises him ostensibly as his own kid. Gambino's wife passes away, giving birth. Guts gets blamed for it. He's a cursed child because they picked him up underneath a tree full of dead people. They should have left him there. Gambino constantly throws him in harm's way. Eventually, Gambino ends up selling Guts to people for money for a night at a time. Just really sucks. Comes into Guts' tent one night trying to kill Guts, and Guts stabs him and runs away. Shitty
I'm going to
dad.
go as far as to say I think Gambino is so bad that I think he might be the worst dad on the F list so far. Like, considering
on
what
that
happened
list
with
so far,
Donovan,
yeah.
Like, yeah.
He is pretty
Eric,
bad.
any familiarity with Berserk and Gambino? Are you going to trust us on this one?
I'm going to trust you guys on it. The only thing I've seen of Berserk is the newly, CG cartoon, which didn't really turn me on to it, but I do know that it is... an
that's so
ostensibly
bad.
wonderful series as a whole, so I'm just going to trust your guys' judgment.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so brokenhearted that's your
I'm so
experience
sorry.
with Berserk.
it's sad.
Oh,
I
that's
am
so
too.
bad.
I had so much hope. I'm just like, I can finally like catch up with Berserk, and I was just like, oh god, this animation is garbage.
You can get away with watching you could probably get away with watching the 3 Netflix movies. I would say watch the 97 anime over that, and over all of it, read the comics.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So.
But anyway, I
I
digress.
Pushing forward here, I figured out who this guy was. And that was, this is a mistaken photograph that I thought was of Tatsuo Kusakabe after I Googled it, but I misspelled it. So whoever this guy is, easy C tier. Who the fuck are you? No, we don't even know who you are. How do you have the nerve to be on this list? C, you're Goku tier. And then on that level, then let's talk about the actual Tatsuo Kusakabe, the actual father from My Neighbor Totoro. Thoughts?
A
Oh
tier.
my God. Yeah, for sure.
A tier. Loving, supportive.
Does
Like,
nothing
what's
wrong.
Stops him
encouraging-
from being S tier.
Like I'm saving S tier for like dads who like go the whole way, right?
Go
like
beyond plus ultra.
everything they've got is for their kid, right? This guy, yeah, he's A tier. He's just a really
Think
good
about
dad.
this though. Think about not just life sacrifice, but emotional sacrifice. He has to put on a brave face for his 2 daughters every single day
Yeah.
while their mom is in the hospital, and they have no idea what the hell is up with her. Like, the doctors give a different story every day, and it
Yeah.
could just be terminal.
Yeah.
And he is just the most optimistic presence in their life that they hardly have a worry in the world, besides like curiosity when Totoro and the cat bus just like take them to the hospital and are just like, oh, there's mom. Okay, she's fine. We had nothing
Yeah.
to worry about.
I just
Okay,
can't
S
imagine
tier.
how he could be a better dad.
That's
I
great.
think, you
Yeah,
know?
no, I'm convinced.
Okay,
S
sick.
tier, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so let's go Naruto. We have so we have Minato.
Minato Namikaze.
Yeah, so we have a issue here in that there are 900 billion Naruto dads, and all of them are like exact carbon copies of their fucking kids, and that's a trend that continues into Boruto, where it's like Shinji's dad, or Shinji, no, not Shinji, the Shadow Boy no Jutsu, Shikamaru's dad.
Yeah.
Shikamaru's dad is just big Shikamaru. Choji's dad is just big Choji. They look identical. But this is a dad that I think we could really sink our teeth into. Where are we putting him on the tier list?
I'm gonna say S tier, because boy, he goes hard for his kid.
Yeah.
Like for his wife and his kid, he goes fucking hard.
Even through
Complicating thing here. He goes harder for his village than he does his son.
I mean, his son lives in his village.
Yeah, but he does make his son the sacrifice and face these things. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a sacrifice for his son specifically. In fact, it placed
It
a
does
gigantic
make him an
burden on him
outcast.
that he... Yeah.
Sure, but also I'm gonna so you mentioned earlier that you wanted to give third Hokage honorable mentions. I think that's a mistake because he's fucking awful. Minato specifically tells the third Hokage, hey, my kid is the vessel for the nine-tailed fox. Take care of him, please. He needs your help, and he's not going to have me or his mom around. Please raise him. And the third Hokage says, sure, and then absolutely does not do anything like that at all. He completely just lets him live on his... the reason that Naruto had a shitty life is not because of his dad, it's because the third Hokage fucking didn't uphold his end of the bargain.
Well, that's also because he wanted to protect Naruto's life, because people know the name of Minato Namikaze. He didn't want to have Naruto's name have Namikaze in it because he would be a target.
Sure, so then raise him as an Uzumaki anyway, but still don't abandon him. Don't abandon him. Like that, he totally abandoned. The reason Naruto had a fucked up childhood is not because of his dad; it's because of the third Hokage, who was charged with taking care of him and did not at all.
Fair. So I mean, my heart would say A on this, but I'm not a daddy. So daddies, what's our answer here?
If he's gonna be an A, it's a high A.
If
Really, If it's an A, it's a high A.
Eric, what do you think?
He just walks that line for me because he does. If he were still alive, he would have been the greatest dad to Naruto. Like probably a better dad than Naruto actually part is.
Interesting complication.
He specifically leaves a part of his soul inside Naruto for when Naruto starts to tap into the nine-tailed fox, right?
Yeah.
He specifically leaves a part of himself
dad.
in his kid to talk to, so that the kid, so he can talk to his dad, right? He had the foresight to say, "Hey, look, I'm not going to be around when you need me. I'm going to be right here with you, kid."
I put him in
all
S tier.
right. Let's give him
you have 30 you have like
Let's give
30
it to
seconds, but that's all I can give you, and everything else I have to make sure that you don't get killed.
All right, we're gonna give it to him. Next up, let's clear a couple of the small time players off the list. This guy.
Yeah.
Who dat?
Oh yeah. That's the dad from Fooly Cooly. That's Kamon Nandaba. He's kind of a creep. He's trying.
Like
he's
that.
I would say low B tier, high C tier.
If we say B is slightly above average and C is slightly below average, what do we break? Where does it break?
If you're saying Goku and Midoriya's dad and Temurei are C tier because they're not around, this guy's at least around and raising his kid. He's running like a newsstand,
Okay.
like to try to like make a life for his kid.
I can buy that argument.
You okay with that, Eric?
I don't.
Okay.
He's low B. I'm gonna say he's low B tier, but he's B tier.
Sounds good. I believe this is Jukai from Dodoro.
Dororo. Yeah, Jukai from Dororo. Background: he started off as a torturing guy. Tortured some guy to death. Took in the guy's kid after he realized that, boy, being a torturer sucks. Starts making prosthetics for people because he's a doctor. Travels battlefields making prosthetics for the dead bodies that are all mangled so that they can look like a whole person. When the kid that he takes in finds out that that Jukai tortured the kid's dad to death, Jukai says, "Okay, let me finish making the prosthetics for this dead body, and then you can have my life." The kid says, the kid lets him keep his life, walks away, and then Jukai finds Hikamaru, the main character of Dororo, who is skinless, eyeless, mouthless, legless, limbless, just all kinds of fucked up because Demon took his body parts. He makes all kinds of prosthetics for him, raises him as his own son.
Wow.
To the point where the guy, Hikamaru, ends up calling Jukai Mama later on.
Where's he going?
A tier.
Okay.
High A tier. High A tier.
Tortures his biological dad beyond
Almost
imagination. But
so does that match how we did Piccolo though? Like we weighted Piccolo down a little bit. Do you think that Jukai does rise above it to A tier?
I think so because we're talking about dads. Like as a dad, yes. As a dad, yes. As a human being, it's a little sketchy.
Just based on description,
because he was a torturer.
It does sound very just Piccolo level to me. As far as like, yeah, he did step up and he was like the best dad he could be surrogately for this child, but I don't know.
I guess
as far as crimes against humanity.
Okay, all right. I'll take.
Okay, Family Court's moving him down. Family Court's moving him down, but we definitely hear you, and it makes me want to reread Dororo because that sounds dope as hell.
It's so
okay.
Good.
Let's. Okay, I can't bear to see him not ranked anymore. Show Tucker.
Oh god.
Show Tucker from Fullmetal Alchemist.
Is there a level below F?
No conversation needed. F tier.
He's the definition of an F tier. You know, he is, and I think I'll keep him at this end because he's specifically the worst. Like,
if you didn't put him in the F tier, I'd hound you till you did.
Like, I might personally, I would put Gambino below, but like Show Tucker is just he's the legendary bad dad.
Yeah,
you know?
Just raise a loving daughter who loves her dog, and just fuse them for the sake of science, or else you're gonna be fired.
Yeah. Look, you slap them together and you can raise them both at the same time. What's so bad about that?
Yep.
F.
Absolutely.
Look, you know, as a dad, you don't have time to take care of a kid and a dog, so you do both at once. What's the big deal?
So let's finish our Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood homies. Maze Hughes. Maze Hughes.
A tier. A tier. Maze Hughes is fucking great. Yeah.
Okay. I'll drop him an A. Sounds good. We could agree with that. Fantastic father. He did self-sacrifice, though, but great guy.
No, he was murdered.
That's different.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
It was murdered.
That is different.
Tragically. Spoilers.
You're right. Fair enough. This is a debate here. So Hohenheim. Hohenheim is a complicated case. I'm just going to leave him down here. What do we think, gentlemen? Where are we putting Hohenheim on the list?
C. Yeah.
C
Goku
tier.
level. Because he does show up at
He
the
could have
end.
been around and he wasn't. I understand it's complicated. I get it. But homie, you could have showed up once in a while.
Yep.
Like,
that was less of a big conversation than I thought it'd be. I think it's just you see Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, considering the weight of the bad that he did, but the complication of his life, it's tough because this is the one in C tier that I think has such a big story behind it compared to the other ones. You know, he's not just an absentee; he's got a lot of complicating factors. So we have cleared that off. Let's talk. Let's talk Avatar. Ooh. Let's talk Avatar, which is an anime. Fire Lord Ozai. Where are you putting Fire Lord Ozai?
I'm gonna say.
If you say
F tier, you think? I'm gonna say D. I'm gonna say D.
Why?
I would. Interesting. I would say he's a Vegeta tier father, but his crimes.
He has no conscience after that. Though.
I'm looking.
He always thought he was right for genocide and totalitarianism.
This is a loaded statement, but genocide aside. As a dad,
genocide.
As a dad, still a piece of shit.
As a dad, like
look at Zuko and look at Zula.
Like, yeah.
I mean, Azula, he was a better dad too, but she is still fucked up in the head.
But that's because like she's a horned up murder bitch. She's like that's why they got along. Is she was just like murder father? Yeah. Yes, I think I'll have some. Yes,
I mean,
like,
you could convince me that he's F tier, but I think he's a solid D.
Here's the thing, Bishop.
I think he was neglectful of his kids, and he didn't like. It wasn't until like Zuko. I think Zuko challenged him to the Kumite, whatever the fuck it's called, right? He didn't call Zuko out. Zuko called him out, right?
I agree with you, Bishop. I agree with you. It's just I'm not sure that like the people will let us do that. You know what I mean?
They're not here.
Fuck the people.
It's only Eric.
I love you people, but I'm not going to let you.
And I can yell louder than Eric can, I think.
Eric, break the call. What do you think?
F across the board. Genocidal. Banish his own son, who was probably the one hope of the Fire Nation, and eventually, yeah.
Let's do. Let's get our Dr. Stone dad out of the way. Where should we put Dr. Stone dad?
S tier.
Yes.
S tier.
S tier. S tier.
100%.
Easy S.
Spent his whole life setting up for his kid to have an advantage in the post-apocalypse. S tier. Great.
Yep. Absolute, complicated, just gorgeous story there. S tier easy. Charles Z Britannia. Charles V Britannia. Where are we putting good old curl face?
I never watched Code Geass, but from what I know, F tier.
F tier. F tier. Oh, fuck that guy. Garbo.
I'm gonna put him in F tier. I still do feel like Silva is a misplacement here, but I get it. Garbage Charles Z Britannia, easy. Dracula from the Netflix hit Castlevania. This has big Fire Lord Ozai vibes, but it's complicated because Fire Lord Ozai was fighting for fascism and Dracula was fighting because the church sucked so much ass.
And it does.
So what do we think?
But so here's the thing: it's like as a dad, how is he as a dad? I think he's a D tier dad. I think he's D tier dad. He's indirectly antagonistic towards Alucard up to a point. He doesn't act. He's just not like seeking Alucard out to kill him.
Kind of lets him come to him,
right?
And then they're just like, all right, like you have your ideals, I have mine. Let's duke it out.
Yeah, and hashtag Dracula did nothing wrong. I'm still firmly in that camp.
100%.
But
no, Dracula's a hero. Yeah.
But
fucking fight me. He's great.
He did let his son kill him. At the end, he did kind of own up the L and have that redemption moment in his room where he allowed himself to be stricken down by Alucard. Could that push him up to C tier, or does letting your son kill you when he really wants to push you up to C tier?
I think we should just do D for Dracula.
Yeah.
Because D for Dracula.
Can we do C tier, pretty please? I just love Dracula so
All right,
much.
C for the C and Dracula.
I mean,
Daddy.
I think C tier's good.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
There's a C in
you can
Dracula.
have
Thank
it,
you for letting me
Pax.
have this, daddies. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
If it speaks to you emotionally.
All right, thanks, gang. What the fuck am I looking at with this?
Yo,
guy?
that's Franklin B. Don, motherfucker. Another
So
shitty
who's-
Gundam dad.
Another shitty Gundam dad.
Hell
Where's
yeah.
the shitty Gundam dad going?
He's gonna go in. Let's see, where did I have him? I think I had him in C tier. He's kind of shitty. He's married, but he also has a side piece, and he kind of sucks towards his son. He's part of the reason why his son leaves to like go join the anti government group. Franklin B. Don sucks. Doesn't really give a shit when his wife gets murdered. Like he's a shitty dad.
So does he C tier suck or D tier
Sounds
suck?
like D tier suck.
Oh, I mean, I think C tier.
You're describing him like a D tier, dude.
I'll take
Okay.
a D tier. Sure, fuck it. I don't care. I don't like the guy. He sucks.
We're giving Franklin Bedan the D. And
Yeah.
so this is something that I'm very passionate about. My One Piece dads. I could make a full One Piece dad tier list all on my own. I fucking love One Piece to death. Who have either of you seen One Piece? Are you familiar with One
Familiar,
Piece?
yes.
Nah, but I read the wiki.
Curious, yes.
Okay. So
You're gonna hate me when I got to say about these fucking guys.
what do you have to say about Monkey D. Garp?
He's an active antagonist towards the protagonists, right? Towards his own grandson.
Luffy?
Is he not?
No. Okay, the context is totally off. So he is like the hero of the Marines. He wanted everybody to be. He preferred that Luffy, Sabo, and Ace, his three kind of like foster sons, basically, join the Marines. But he sheltered Portugas de Ace, who was the son of Goldie Roger himself. He sheltered Sabo.
There's a lot of names you're throwing at me.
Yeah, he sheltered. Well, whatever. I'm taking the podium. I'm daddy now. He sheltered Sabo, a refugee from the Gola Kingdom, who was the son of the evil noble there, and he like raised the shit out of them with really tough love because they were all like little shits. He's enough of a knucklehead that I would put him in B tier, but he is not someone. Even though he's actively trying to hunt Luffy, it's with the quotation marks.
I'm okay, so I'm gonna defer to you on the One Piece guys. Just know I put them both in F tier. Fuck them.
I'm with you, Max.
Okay. Well, so let's go with Judge. We'll go with thank you, Eric. Thank you, Eric. You can come back. I'm kidding, Bishop. Okay, so Vince Smoke Judge. What did you learn about Vince Smoke Judge, Bishop?
Also actively antagonistic towards his kids. Fuck
Yep.
that guy.
Vince Smoke Judge from One Piece, the father of Sanji Vince Smoke, genetically experimented on all of his children, fucking Show Tucker style, and then just beat the shit out of and tortured Sanji when he was the one that the genetic experiments did not work for. He actively runs like a global assassination ring, fucking Silva style, except he is like just straight like pro-fascist. He's like the Nazi allegory. He's all eugenics. Full F tier for Vince Smoke Judge. Fuck him. Fuck him till he dies.
I'm glad I called that one. Good.
Absolutely. So we got, I think that this is I'll move him here. So we are running down the last couple of dads here. We got like 8 left. Our last, I think, complicated dad to talk about is going to be right here.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about
GRISHA?
fucking, oh god,
Grisha
what is
YAEGER.
Oh.
Grisha
GRISHA YAEGER. So GRISHA YAEGER from Attack on Titan. What do we think
piece
for
of shit.
GRISHA?
Fuck
Actual
that guy.
piece of shit, for sure.
It's so complicated, though.
F or D. You guys can convince me one way or the other. I think
Why
he's
F
F
tier,
tier
though?
Unpack it.
because his whole intent is to turn one of his kids, either one, into a weapon against. I mean, granted, it's against like a fascist like government that he wants to fight, but also you're turning your kid into a weapon on purpose.
Right?
Like, come on.
Think about that. Because they are...
No, it's not. They didn't have that choice.
I don't know. I feel like Zeke made his choice. Zeke ratted him out and said, he's a traitor, arrest him, and then, I don't know. And he was trying to indoctrinate Zeke against his will.
Like,
But
are like
you gotta think of...
like Did you watch that? Like, okay, I was gonna say this not condescending, and then I decided I want to be really condescending. Did you watch the same
Dude,
full
I
season
finished
that I
the
watched?
fucking manga. And
Oh god.
Okay. So he sucks though because he was raising his kid to like turn him into a weapon. The kid rats him out because the kid's scared shitless. He goes to he gets sent
he was scared shitless anyway because
Paradiso,
any
where the fuck
wrong
they call
move
the
and
island.
he's
has another kid, and turns that kid into a weapon.
reluctantly though.
He
That
does
one
it
was
twice.
different.
He does
that
it
one
twice.
was like circumstantial, and it was because literally, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
if you did not read ahead in Attack on Titan, mute for the
I
next.
haven't read. Nope.
Okay,
Dude, I swear to
never
God,
mind.
I'm gonna punch you
Okay.
through the screen if you.
I won't spoil it, but just know that it was for
Thank
a
you,
purpose, and it was in his children's best interest. I put him in.
I'm sure.
B tier,
But
C tier.
also,
B tier, C tier,
Oh,
in the
in
grand
the
scheme
B
of
tier?
the whole series.
Beat.
And you did not read ahead in the manga, so you don't know
Here's
the whole
thing.
scope of
If there's
it.
unknown knowledge. Oh, he's pulling the card. He's pulling the "you don't know what I know" card. Bishop, I don't know. What do you feel like? Is this the hill we're dying on? Because he
usually the you don't know what I know card, I will fight that. But given what this show has done so far, I have to defer to his judgment. If Eric
Okay.
says he's B tier or C tier, I have to let it be B tier or C tier.
So now,
'Cause-
Eric, which is it? Because this is a fucking
Oh my god.
complicated dad. I mean, he's so manipulated by political forces. I mean, did he even do anything wrong is an important question here. Like, there's morally, but then in the grand scheme of things, just the weight of history. And so the weight of history presses on you, Eric Schutt, as you answer, what tier does GRISHA YAEGER go in, knowing that it's solely your responsibility with the comments say for this one? What do you think?
Oh my god. And I feel so unworthy of this choice because as a straight white male, this all I can do is imagine the circumstances of this person who is just so desperate to make his people rise above to the point where he just wants his offspring to also push against the system that is trying to keep them down or destroy them at the very worst. So in the grand scheme of things, I put him in B tier.
I get that.
B tier.
But like,
We got to move on, Eric. You're putting him in B tier.
okay.
Whoa, okay. And now I could finally say it. You look like GRISHA YAEGER, dude. Like,
That's way higher.
so I think there's some sympathy going on here. You got the facial hair going on, but you're way nicer to your kid. B tier for GRISHA YAEGER. That's a huge decision, man. So shout out to you for making
Loves his kids. His kids. He's trying his best. That's B tier criteria.
Fuck! Oh, you got me with my own. Oh, you bastard!
Kazuyuki Izumi from Parasite.
I would say he's probably like a B tier dad. He's aloof. He's like, he cares about his kid. It's tragic that he turns to an alcoholic when his, spoiler alert, wife dies in the 3rd episode. But like, I think he's trying, you know?
Firm agree. He's
I
trying.
started Parasite.
Have you seen Parasite, Eric?
I don't
Any
know
thoughts on
why
this?
I didn't finish it, but I trust your guys' judgment
good.
on it.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of it actually either, but yeah, B tier sounds fine with me. Someone I am very passionate about, Kiritsugu Emiya. Emiya from Fate Zero. This gentleman down here.
Oh, Fate Zero is just... it's nostalgic for me
It's devastating.
at this point.
It's devastating. His children are not genetic. He's like the adoptive father of them, essentially, but he raises them throughout his whole life. After he has the devastating moment that changes his whole life with the Holy Grail in Fate Zero, the entire rest of his life is functionally dedicated to sacrificially just creating the little dojo that he raises his child in and spending every second of his life kind of being a good father till he collapses from the strain that Grail caused. So he's not with the child for their whole life, but like... He feels S tier to me, but he might be an A tier just because of all the martyrs that he did earlier. So I don't know, Bishop. What do you think?
So I'm not familiar, but I did a brief skimming of the wiki, and I had him at B. If you say he's an A tier, I'll take A tier.
Gotcha. A tier. We'll put him at A tier. Beautiful comp. One of my favorite characters in anime. Period. But you know, as a father, you actually don't get to see a lot of him parenting. It's mostly like in flashbacks and future Fate things. So A tier is good with me. Someone else I love, Shojiro Sakura from Persona 5, which is
Yeah.
an
Watch that.
anime
It's on my
because they
list.
made an
Yes.
anime of it.
Yes, there is. Also,
So
the
what-
game is
just
an
play the
anime. Also, the game is an anime. Shut up.
It is. Games are anime now. So-
I think he's B tier. Shojiro, he's trying real hard, but his daughter is not doing great. She's not very healthy, and I think he just doesn't know what to do to
agree.
take care of her. I think he's trying real hard. I think he's B tier. Maybe A tier. It could be argued, but I think solid B.
Like the way he grows and the way he cares for her, and he does allow her to just like be in her room for like the year that she needs after the trauma. I'm talking myself into A tier now.
Like I said, I could be talked into A tier easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
He's
But
rough
I
around
think
the corners. Yeah, he is trying. I think with the leniency he gives you, like the main character is his adopted child. I think I could give him
Fine
A tier.
by me.
We okay with that?
sure.
We're down to 4 left. We're gonna blaze through these. We have the fucking father of light Yagami, Yagami Soichiro, Commissioner Gordon himself in the flesh. Have we all seen Death Note or read Death Note?
It is.
Yeah.
So this is complicated. Him as a father is such a complicated
Well,
question.
is this
what are we thinking, Dad? Council of Dads.
Is this a
I
question
think
of
he's
can
a
we
B
judge
tier.
him by his fathering methods or by the product that is his child, Light Yagami?
No, it's him as a father. We're not judging Light. We're judging Shuichiro. I think he's not around often, but he does care about his kid. But also, he cares so much about his kid that he's blind to the fact that his kid could also be a suspect in these mass murder cases. Like, I think he's trying, but I think he lets his work get in the way of taking care of his family. Like,
You're sounding like a B tier for me, Bishop. Is that fair to say?
yes,
I
yes,
think
that's what
I
I'm
would
saying.
put him as a B tier too, because if he were anything above, he would have had to do something like plot changing instead of like the juggernaut that was Light Yagami's arc.
Easy agree. I think we can keep him B tier. And another great character that's really complicated, and that's the glory of talking about this with you all, is that like hearing just your perspectives on like fatherhood is one thing, but considering the weight of some of these stories, it really reminds me like the joy and complication that anime can really relay in some of these, right?
Yeah, media is great.
Yay.
It's great.
Thank you for showing us
Go
the
media,
worst and
go
best of us.
stories.
Yay,
Okay.
consume product.
The last 3 we have from Vinland,
Vinland
Saga.
Saga.
Thors, right? Is that how you spell it, or Tors?
Tors used to be, I mean, I guess technically he still is up until a point, a crazy good warrior. Awesome. Fantastic warrior. Goes to war, wins a lot of victories, comes back, settles down, raises a family. I forget who it was. Like, what do you call the head of like a Viking culture or whatever? They're like, all right, we're going to go to war in England. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we're going to war in England. They come by and they're like, Tors, you're coming. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to stay here with my family. Like, nah, dog, you're coming. And he's like, all right. So there's political stuff that happens. They get ambushed by another group of Vikings who don't want Tors to make it because politics. And Tors alone stands against an entire another boat of Vikings and gives his life to protect his men, including his own son. S tier dad.
Say less, man. I'm down. I'm down with S tier, Dad. So we're ending off somewhere where we all know where the last one's going, but we're ending with 2 Avatar: The Last Airbender dads, just because I think it'll end us on a good note today. So first up is Hakoda, the father of Katara and Sokka.
Yep.
So I believe he's the chieftain of the Water Tribe, right?
He is.
Yeah. So Eric, where do you think Hakoda should land on this list?
Either B or A tier, because he is fighting for the sake of the world and his people in the Southern Water Tribe, but he is an absent father, and the effects are shown in Katara and Sokka. So I would put him in B, because he does mean well and he's a good guy, but yeah.
I would take a B tier as well.
All right. B tier dad, trying his best. Totally down with that. And then last up, the man, the myth, the legend, another guy who more than earns his exception
Just
to the
ass.
didn't live in your nuts rule. Uncle Iroh. Uncle Iroh.
So I will amend this. Iroh did actually have a kid. who died and he mourned for. Iroh was actually a good dad to that kid.
Yep.
Was that when he did the Falling Leaves song?
I think
at that
so.
grave?
Yeah.
Yep. So what does Iroh teach us about fatherhood? To kind of end on a more optimistic note, Eric, speak from your heart about Iroh a little bit.
Oh, dear God. So when Iroh tragically lost his son in the war, it gave him a completely new perspective. On top of being a good dad already, it just gave him more of an appreciation for life itself and how all life is valuable. And it made him an even better dad for Zuko, I think, and just steered him in the right direction. And let Zuko kind of find his own path, too. He wasn't just like, no, it has to be this way. He let him find his own path and make his own mistakes to where it eventually led him to the right decision at the end. And I think that puts him in S on top of all the emotional sacrifice that he went through.
Yeah, I would say part of what makes Uncle Iroh great is that he is able to see the flaws in Zuko and like accept them, but also like try to guide Zuko like to find like you said, to find his own path, but also like maybe this path is kind of the path you want to go on because it's just so much nicer for you if you go this way. You know, I think the fact that he's accepting of Zuko.
Yeah, he does tell him, if you continue this path, you will be grossly unhappy. Trust me. But you will make your own decision.
But he doesn't stop him.
Absolutely.
He accepts him. He accepts his ostensibly adopted or whatever son for who he is, and just tries to do his best. I think Iroh's a great dad.
All right, and with that said, we are making our final placement in S tier of the iconic daddy in anime, Uncle Iroh. Mad peace to Uncle Iroh. So with that, the conclusion of our Anime Dads tier list. Final question for y'all, because you've been so generous with your time. Favorite dad on this list? Who's your favorite dad on this list? As a character, if you had to pick one daddy, who's it going to be? Because I will speak extemporaneously and say that my favorite fucking dad on this list has got to be Kiritsugu. I'm sorry, I'm a huge Kiritsugu simp. And I think that the idea of finding another chapter in your life and learning from all the mistakes you've made is super embodied in him. My close runner-up would be Shojiro Sakura. I just like his gruffness. He could teach me how to make curry. I'd be really down. But Bishop, do you have one for us? Your favorite dad?
I think I gotta say either Jonathan or Maze Hughes. Jojo or Hughes, one or the other. I don't know which one. But I think Hughes is so wholesome. Hughes is so wholesome.
If you had asked me like 10 years ago,
Eric,
I would have said Goku just out of sheer bias. Because Dragon Ball was my shit growing up. But over the years, I think, and also through nostalgia, Iroh is my top. Hands down. Just as the most wholesome, nurturing, and strengthening, empowering father figure. He is my top. Even though he's technically an honorable mention, he is also a dad.
Absolutely. So with that said, Bishop, Eric, thank you both so much for coming on. And I know it's preemptive, but happy Father's Day. A huge happy Father's Day to you both. I am so blown away by the updates I'm seeing with like the growth of your youngsters and seeing just life bloom for you all. I mean, I can't imagine two better dads, and especially two better weeb dads to have on to the daddy tier list. So what are we thinking? We're happy with the list. Had a good time.
The debate, the banter.
I had a great time. I'm happy with the list. I had a great time.
Moments.
Do it again.
Yeah.
100%. Right. I had a great time. I'm happy with the list. I had a great time. Do it again. 100%.
Absolutely. I'm really good. I'm glad. I think we had a good mix of like agreement and disagreement on this list. Some of which I was just surprised by. I was surprised we placed Hohenheim so easily, but like, I guess when it is complicated, you kind of agree that it's complicated, you know? So, that said, my reward to y'all for your hard work, your wages for today. Let's get in some plugs. Bishop, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Reverend_Roscoe. Where I'm mostly tweeting about anime, tokusatsu, and retweeting other people's leftist takes on stuff.
Absolutely. Please follow Bishop. If you ever want to see Bishop angrily correcting me about anime facts, definitely hit it up. And also just some great takes. Bishop is just smart as a goddamn whip. So lucky to have you on. And Eric, where can people find you and what do you have going on performance-wise? Because I know there's some exciting things in your future.
Yeah, okay. So on social media, you can find me at Eric is the Shoot. Spelled S-U-T-T.
Oh, that's very good.
It's mostly cute baby pics, nothing like too fancy or special or humorous. Just like if you want to see a picture of a cute baby, I gotcha. And performance-wise, now that COVID restrictions are kind of lifting a little bit and audiences are packing up a little more and more, performers are able to go unmasked during performances if they are vaccinated or tested. You can find us at ofccreations.com, and I will be in the musical production of A Chorus Line. And show dates for that will be in the description because I cannot remember off the top of my head right now.
Absolutely. For all other social handles, for all that information, check the description. We will put it there as well as timestamps for the episode as we break it down. And with that said, Bishop, Eric, thank you both so much for coming on today. Please check them out on socials. Support Eric's absolutely outstanding ability at acting and dancing. And Bishop, if we ever wind up streaming one of your games, Bishop's one of the best game masters I know. Just a really fucking smart, funny, amazing person. I couldn't be luckier to have you guys on. So thank you so much for joining us.
We need to do that sometime. I got to just buckle down and just like find 2 other people and just do it.
And since you wish us a happy Father's Day, I would be remiss if I didn't also wish happy Pride to all our LGBTQ people out there. And to all the adopted dads, happy Father's Day. Thank you so much for everything you do, and we love you.
Absolutely. Eric, thank you so much for that reminder to all of our, not just biological dads, but the logical dads out there, the people who take them up and are that adoptive family, to all the leather daddies out there. That's not really what we're talking about for Father's Day, but it's technically, it's technically shares the name. So, happy Pride, y'all. Happy Father's Day. And happy goddamn Brotakus. Another fantastic episode in the bag. Everybody, thank you all so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcasting app. Click all the engagement buttons on YouTube. And the most important thing you could do, if possible, is share us with a friend. If you liked what you saw, check out our other content. Share the stuff that you really like. I cannot tell you how much it helps the show. But with that said, thank you all so much for listening. I am Pax, and this has been Brotakus. We'll see you next week, y'all. Bye.
Leaves from the vine, falling so slow, like fragile, tiny shells, drifting in the foam. Little sorrow, come back to